So, Hasan Piker has been on the hot seat over the last couple of days, mostly for comments involving 9/11 and saying that Islamic extremists are brave soldiers for poking somebody's eye out. Didn't do himself any favors with the right on that one, definitely. But something that caught Sophia's eye and caught my eye as well was his weird defense of Jank and TYT taking $20 million from Jeffrey Katzenberg. Don't know why he felt the need to defend that, but his defense was pretty bad. So on Twitter, Hasan decided to. I mean, yesterday he was just like I said, he was on one yesterday. His Twitch stream was crazy. His tweets were crazy. I think that he might have been tweeting drunk. He might have been drunk tweeting. He might have been drunk tweeting and drunk streaming last night. But this is what he said. He said people getting mad at Jank for getting investments from Jeffrey Katzenberg are on the same dumb frequency with people who attack Bernie for making $1 million off of his book. Did his advocacy change? Yeah, that's part of the problem. But my man started an organization to primary shit Dems after he got funded from Hillary donors. Then he goes on to say, trying to, I guess because he got just dragged in his original tweet. He goes on to say a lot of people purposefully, I don't think he knows what that means. I think he meant purposely, not purposefully, missing the second part of this tweet, which is that Jank never changed his advocacy, regardless of investments, and has done more, even more as far as putting leftists in position of power, like firing all those progressives who disagree with him on Russiagate. He said, but pop off on Twitter, everyone. Praxis. I don't know what the hell that means. I'm guessing that's some weird Twitch thing. So yeah. First of all, let me explain to you how investments work, Hasan. I'm not quite sure you actually know how this works. And that weird comparison and a link that you try to make to Bernie Sanders making $1 million and Jank taking $20 million, that shit, it does not work at all. First of all, when Bernie Sanders got paid $1 million or became a millionaire from his book, it was for services rendered. In other words, people bought his book, and the words in his book were not going to change after they bought it. In other words, it was already written. You wanted the product. You bought the product as is. Bernie became wealthy off of that, which I'm perfectly fine with, by the way. And so there's nothing in that book that could change or influence anybody outside of the spectrum that Bernie meant for it to influence them when he wrote the book, no matter what happens. That's not venture capitalist investments, Hasan. I need you to understand this. When somebody, I don't give a damn if it's TYT, I don't care if it's Shake Shack or even Burger King. I don't care. If somebody gives you 20 million in funds, bruh, you are now, they control what you say and what you do. It may not be to an extreme degree. Don't get me wrong, but that's what you're expecting a certain outcome based on the money I'm putting into the company. Jeffrey Katzenberg is a Democratic Party bigwig, one of the top 3 donors of the Democratic Party, was the top donor to Obama, was the top donor to Hillary Clinton. You, not you personally, but TYT hyper focuses on Donald Trump, elevates, whether accidentally or purposely, certain establishment candidates pretending like they're progressives, cough Elizabeth Warren, or in Emma Vigilante's case, Kamala Harris, she was trying to say she's half progressive, half establishment, whatever the hell that means. Jake even went on to claim that Elizabeth Warren was, she never said on TYT that she was going to take unlimited amounts of funding from whoever the hell she can get it from if she wins the general or if she wins the primary and goes into the general. Now, on top of that, is one thing that, yeah, you could throw Bernie's name out there. I swear to God, that's what everybody does, right? That's what neoliberalites do. They throw Bernie's name out there and they think they can just do what the hell they want to after that. It's not how it works. But if it wasn't for just uplifting Elizabeth Warren. Or that tweet that I think it was Jank or the TYT main account put out that said it was clearly Jay Inslee was the standout in this debate. Or the tweet in the first debate where Tulsi was the most Googled candidate on Twitter, and they did a poll to ask who won, didn't even put her name in the poll. But basically, they've gone to they started to uplift the very same establishment candidates that they heavily critiqued and simultaneously ignored Tulsi, who was a progressive, the same Tulsi who has been blacklisted by UTA and CAA. UTA, of course, being the agency that Jank and Anna belong to, alongside people like Anderson Cooper, Cuomo, and people like that. Like, it's not a coincidence, Hasan. It's not a coincidence. I know you want it to be a coincidence, but it's simply not. And it's not even like he doesn't necessarily even have to do this on purpose, right? But why do you think that Jimmy left? If TYT was the same company they were before the election, right? Yeah, the Democratic primary, they were like Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. But they at least try to pretend as if it was because they just felt like there was no other choice because Trump was that bad. At least they try to pretend like it was in good faith. But Russiagate, Cenk went full xenophobe, even after he knew that he was wrong. I ain't gonna say how I know he knew, but you and I both know he knew he was wrong, and he basically told people to kiss his ass whenever the proof was in the pudding, and he didn't want to admit it on his show. So, Sophia, what do you got to say about that?
And I would just add that it's just like you're right with like them just throwing Bernie's name there, because Bernie earned the $1 million. You could kind of say it was like from crowdfunding, because it was just regular people buying his book, right? And it wasn't just out of nowhere. Someone was just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you $1 million bucks. You can do whatever you want with it. I mean, I'm like,
say that last part again. You cut out a little bit. You cut out a little bit. Say that last part again. You said, hey.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, no one just decided to give him $1 million just because. And for TYT to have received $20 million, you can't tell me that there's no strings attached to that. I mean, it's one thing to be like, oh, I really like your network. I'm somewhat of a wealthy person. I'm going to give you $2,000 bucks, so you guys can get better equipment and whatever you want to do with it, like just like a donation. But 20 million definitely shows you that they're asking something. They're asking something from you.
And to be clear, when it comes to venture capitalism, it's not a donation. It's not a $20 million donation, which could actually be seen in a completely different light. This is 20 million with strings attached, like Sophia just said. This is what venture capitalism is. We're not paying you for services rendered. We're paying you for what we expect you to do for this money. And you are literally, by definition of venture capitalism, when you take that much money in that situation, you are no longer in full control of your company. By definition, you are no longer independent. You have someone else come in. I know y'all don't have the same CEO anymore, right? Y'all don't have the same president of business operations. At least I might be confusing it, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Y'all don't have. I know for a fact that Jenkins isn't the CEO anymore. I know that y'all don't. I know that Steve-O had his position changed as well after y'all took the 20 million. Why? Because your whole goal at a certain point has to be to pay back that 20 million. In other words, their investments have to be worth something. So if they're not going to if they're not going to get that 20 million back, which for these people, because it's through a venture capitalist firm, so not just Jeffrey Katzenberg's pockets, but through other billionaires and other super millionaires. Like, that's not a lot of money. It really isn't. I know it sounds crazy to say for some people, but that's not a lot of money to these people. And flipping that money into 40 million is important, but controlling the message of the masses is even more important. So if you don't get that money for them, they at least going to want to control your message. And if they have to make the choice to whether or not you'll do something like support Tulsi Gabbard versus supporting Elizabeth Warren, And if they like, well, the more you attack Tulsi Gabbard, you're gonna lose some money. But if we can lose money but keep her out of office, or lose money and keep Elizabeth Warren in the running, knowing that it's going to hurt Bernie Sanders, then we'll lose that money. Because in politics, influence is much more important. They know that investment goes back into whoever the president is, and they will recoup on their investments at that point.
That, but they spoke to the person and they were saying, "Oh yeah, it's doing. It's we don't. I don't even. I think it's mostly bullshit, but it's doing really well for us.
Yeah,
It's getting us
yeah.
those ratings."
It's like,
So,
yeah, nobody
and
believes
again,
that.
yeah, and we've seen how TYT has progressed, right, over the couple of years. Obviously, not really progressed, but how they've changed throughout the last couple of years. So it's no wonder
Emma
that
Vigilant.
return.
Well, I was gonna say
Yeah,
Emma
that
Vigilant
return.
literally went from, I like, Tulsi's one of my favorite candidates in Washington. I can't wait for her to run for president, with the same record being out there, and then her actually equivocating on her record in some regards, saying like she didn't care about that. I still really like her. To Tulsi is a severely flawed candidate. She hates Muslims. She belongs to a cult. And it's almost like they've talked themselves into feeling this way about certain candidates, one way or the other, because like they know at the end of the day, if they do make the wrong move, there will be monetary consequences.
Yeah, I mean, just with the rating thing, I mean, it's really no wonder why they chose to continue, just like MSNBC, to continue to propagate this narrative over and over. And even though every time they were proven wrong, it wasn't a bombshell or whatever, then they still continued to lie about it, and Jane continues to believe it even today. And he
Yeah.
just keeps pushing the goalposts further and further and further. So it's no wonder that.
And it became hyper focused on Trump, right? So think about this. He used the Justice Democrats as an example of how it didn't affect him negatively. But think about it like this: even what they're for first of all, it's Justice Democrats. Why is it exclusively Democrats? Immediately at that point, you're incentivized to not critique the Democrats as much because you're officially invested, literally, in the success of that party as a whole, right? So there's that problem. If you were like Our Revolution, it's a different discussion, because Nina, as president of Our Revolution, made it very clear you don't have to be a Democrat in order for you to get our endorsement. And they've lived up to that. They've endorsed Green Party candidates and independent candidates across the country. So, like, if that would be a totally different story, but that's not what took place. You said you had to be a Democrat because you want to change the Democratic Party from within. You want to have influence in the Democratic Party. And coincidentally enough, one of the largest donors from the Democratic Party is the one who gave you 20 million. Like, so once again, even if it isn't like conscious, you're going to by default invest yourself in the success and reformation of the Democratic Party, rather than acknowledging, hey, maybe the Democratic Party needs to be blown up, and we need to start challenging from other perspectives, using our platform to elevate the Jill Steins more, which I can't think of the last time they had a Green Party candidate on. I can't think of it. That they did have Jill Stein on back in the day before the 20 million. Even though they were saying to vote for Hillary. And their panels back then were actually more diverse. Like Jimmy was on that panel where they were arguing about who you wanted to vote for, who should you vote for.
Yeah,
Yeah, Steve O. Yeah, I think Steve O back then was even saying, "Hey, you should not be voter
yeah,
shaming."
he was saying the same thing. Yeah, the same thing as Jimmy. He was saying the same thing.
And so I just don't find it coincidental that like they move more center the moment they took that money. It just can't be. It can't be. That's just not how, and that's not how venture capitalism works.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to get all of our notifications if you like that episode of Mikasa Sukasa. You can also help continue to grow our show by donating to our Patreon and helping us hit our goal of 500 patrons. But remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.